On today's show, I interview Tutu, the founder of Tecnis Academy, which boasts over 2,000 students from 15 countries and nearly 70 members of staff. Tutu is a prolific teacher, and now, as director of her Kent-based academy, she has now earned the right to be called a fantastic and inspirational businesswoman too. This is the Hezron Springer Show. Welcome back to the Hezron Springer Show. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things. So firstly, Tutu, just a little bit about you. You've just come back from Nigeria.
Yes.
How was that?
It was awesome.
Yeah?
Just going back to the motherland. It was a beautiful experience. I got to see a lot of people that I haven't seen in a long time. It was beautiful.
Really good. And I saw on your Instagram, you went on business class for the first time.
Yes,
Tell him.
that's true.
Tell him.
I just decided, you know what, let's do it. I just went up to the desk and I said, is there a chance you can upgrade us to business class? And they said yes, and I'm like, okay, let's do it. And yeah, it was an amazing experience. I did fly economy back. It wasn't too much of a nice experience. But now I know I have to work harder to have that kind of lifestyle.
When you're a businesswoman and you now fly business class, it's all happening for you. So I'm so grateful for bringing you onto my show.
Thank you for having me.
But let's take it right back from the beginning, Tutu. You know, we have this perception in the West where people that are successful, people that are rich, etc. Sometimes a lot of people think, oh, they were born with a silver spoon in their mouth, or her parents must have been rich. She must have gotten £1 million investment, rah, rah, rah. From what I've seen, that's hardly the case. 90% of the successful people that I know, including my clients, started from nothing. So tell me from the beginning, you weren't born in this country, were you?
No. So I was born in Nigeria. I came to the UK 20 years ago, and I haven't been home since then, hence why I went back home. But yeah, no, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Yes, my parents were working class, they were above average back home, but it was still a struggle because of the economy in Nigeria and everything. But they sent me here in my late teens. I did my college here, then I went to university. And yeah, that's where it all started. Went to university, got my first degree, which was in software engineering. Didn't really enjoy it. Worked a few years in IT, didn't really enjoy it. Went back to uni to train to be a teacher. And that's how my teaching career started.
Was there some sort of passion in you to help other people learn?
Yeah, I think that passion's been there from my early childhood. I just totally ignored it or didn't see it being a career for me. And then my dad was a lecturer. He's retired now. So I think it's in the family. It's something that I enjoy doing. And I have this passion with working with young people, working with young children, because I was once a young child. So yeah.
Did you have this kind of thing of like, I went through the struggle, I've got to give it back?
Absolutely. I wasn't an A-star student in school. I wasn't flying through as I would have liked in school. But what I quickly found out in my early adult years is I wasn't dumb. It wasn't that I was incapable. I had a different learning style. It takes me a while to process information. But eventually when I do, then I get it. And I found that a lot of kids were in that position and I wanted to help them. The ones who didn't believe in themselves, the ones who don't have confidence, the ones who think they're dumb. And actually to change the narrative for them that, no, actually you're not. It's just because you haven't looked at it in a different light or you haven't got the right support. That's probably why you're not thriving.
Absolutely. Where did your tenure of teaching start in the UK?
So I qualified to become a teacher in 2010. Even before I finished my qualification, I already got a job in a school, and that's how I started. Worked in mainstream school for over a decade.
And what were you teaching?
I was teaching maths, so
Wow.
I qualified to be a maths teacher.
Wow, that's a hard one.
So for me, it wasn't.
Wow.
For
Talk
me,
about being gifted.
well, no, for me, it was because I enrolled myself for Masters in Education after my teaching degree. And I remember my dissertation being on finding creative ways of teaching every single topic in maths. I still have the spreadsheet.
Hold on, stop. And this is where the genius comes, guys. You a side aim, let's say, was to find ways to make the teaching easier while you were teaching.
Yeah. So I wanted to find a way to teach every single topic in a creative way, being maybe a song, a rhyme, a story, an acronym, anything to help them to be able to easily recall that topic without having to sweat it out, and it worked. And I started doing that with the kids.
How did the kids respond to that kind of teaching?
Oh, it was amazing. The kids loved it. They enjoyed it. So it was more or less like they were learning without even knowing they were learning. So I was given this set where every single child in that class's prediction is to fail. Like literally everyone's predicted an E or an F. Basically saying it in other terms that the school's given up on them. They didn't think they would do anything or get any qualification. At one point, they were even considering taking them out of the GCSE exam, so on enrolling them and putting them on a lower qualification.
Right.
So, well, they decided to keep them on for the GCSEs, and I took them on, and we changed the narrative. I worked on their mindset, because that's another thing I'm very passionate about. So, change their mindset from I'm a failure, I'm dumb, I'm never going to get my GCSEs, I'm never going to get any qualifications, to actually, you can do it. Yes, you might not be where you should be right now, but with certain steps in place, you will get there. So this class of, I think, about 20 kids, 76% of them got their GCSE grades from zero expectations.
So it went from 0% to 26%.
76%.
To 76%. Wow.
76% of them passed their GCSE exams.
Wow. You did your teaching tenure, and at some point, a magic light bulb must have come out of your head and thought, hey, let me start a business.
It didn't actually happen like that. So I was more than happy being a classroom teacher. I got head of statistics at some point at school, but then my daughter became very, very ill, and which meant frequent visits to the hospital, seeing the consultant, at some point having a surgery, and I couldn't have the same dedication I used to have with my work. Really? So I decided to leave mainstream teaching. It was a very difficult decision, but I know that I needed to focus more on my child because I needed the flexibility to be able to look after her. But I knew that wasn't the end of teaching for me. Teaching is, I discovered very, very quickly, this is my life. This is what I want to do. I've just now got to find another way of doing that. And that's how my tutoring journey started.
Right. So talk to me, like, I want to get into that kind of like business brain of you now.
Yeah.
How did it start? Like, I want to call it Tecnis Academy, I'm going to do this. Tell me just how you went through the excitement of that.
So I would go into their houses and I would go and tutor them. And at one point, I was going into 20 different houses each week with my daughter straddled to my back.
How old was she back then, by the way?
She was 2,
Oh
3.
my God, that's so cute.
So I'll go into people's houses. I would give her an iPad so that, she can... and then I'll teach their kids, and that was it. And it got to a point that it was becoming very difficult to navigate 20 houses in a week. So I said to all the parents, I sent a text out to all of them, and I said, I found a little space in Chatham. I found a small office. Would you be able to bring your child to me to tutor rather than me coming to your house? And I gave them reasons why, because it's very difficult for me and stuff. Yeah. And 18 out of those 20 parents moved to the office to start their child's tuition with me. And that's how it all started. I didn't have a huge money set aside. I knew that it was a risk because the lease was at least 5 years. I just went, let's do it. Yeah. And that's how we got our own space in Chatham. And students started coming in, I started to get tutors that could come and help me out to be able to teach these kids. And then I couldn't teach the maths classes alone by myself anymore. Then got more maths teachers to come in and join me.
Right.
And we started doing face-to-face classes in our new office in Chatham at the time.
And the key thing is here, you pretty much started this as nothing, really.
Totally.
You used the money that you made to invest into more, and you kept bringing it back and forth, right?
That's the key, yeah. I was reinvesting a lot as soon as I had a little bit of money, and then I put it into use, yes.
And this is the game that which a lot of people that don't have businesses know. It's not always necessary to just have 100 grand to start off on day one. You do the small jobs, put the money back in, you buy the office, put the money back in, hire the next person, put the money back in, and you keep going back and forth non-stop until it just grows and grows and grows.
Absolutely. I remember my late grandmother telling me, and it's an African adage, there's a food called moi moi, but it has sort of a level, and it has the high level, and then it's like a bean cake, and then it has a slim level, and she'll say, you start from the very slim end, right? That's where you start. So then you gradually then build up. And I remember that, and that always rings in my head till now. I remember my grandmother telling me that.
Amen. I love that. As you're now starting to hire more people, it's now starting to become a culture. And tell me more about the way you're foreseeing things as an entrepreneur of how Tecnis Academy should look like to others.
So we have the family culture at Tecnis Academy. And it goes back to the African adage that it takes a village to raise a child. Maybe it's not an African adage, I don't know. But it takes a village, but we do really believe in it in Africa. It takes a village to raise a child. Right. And so we have this nurturing environment, this winning environment where everyone bounces off each other. Hard work in Tecnis Academy is actually a cool thing.
Lovely.
Everyone wants to do well, and then they know we really, really do care about them. They see us, the teachers, more like uncles and aunties, and you know, who are very, very invested into their future.
Is that why you guys wear those cool polo t-shirts?
Yeah. Well, yes, we do, but it's part of all the making everyone feeling included. Even our students have those shirts as well.
Really?
Yes.
And we need to state that that was a defined choice. You never chose a suit at the Tecnis Academy. You chose a polo shirt. Why?
Maybe to make them feel more relaxed, more chilled.
Right.
You know, nothing serious, but still going to impact you in a good way.
Exactly. Like, I remember the first time when I came there, I never knew who you... You know what's funny, actually? I'll tell you the story, actually.
Okay, tell me.
So I did April Laughs video. Yeah. And she said, I got this random... well, she never said random. She said, I got this friend in Kent that had this academy. I was like, okay, well, there's some academy in Kent. I'm like, who's this? Like... Yeah. So anyway, he invited me to do... it was like a GCSE or A-level after class thing.
Yeah. When we went into the school.
Right, in Sittingbourne School, I think it was.
Yeah.
I just had a little because there was some woman running academy in Kent. It's like it's not usually my usual quota.
Yeah.
So I walk into the school now and I see about 3 or 4 classrooms with these really cool teachers wearing the polo shirts. They're really open. They're really friendly, and instantly, I knew this woman is about something. Like,
we have a family culture inscribed into all the ways we run. I'll give you instances with, if the kids don't turn up to lessons, we'll ring up home to check in on them.
even the online ones.
Even the online ones.
Shame.
If they don't complete their homework, we'll send an email to the parents.
I thought you guys were nice guys. you changed the tone.
But then it's just checking in. Are they okay? Are they all right? Are they coming in? And my own daughter attends classes at Tecnis Academy herself. Oh, yeah. So,
free of charge for her,
right? Yes. So when she doesn't come to lesson, I get a phone call, and when she doesn't complete her homework, I get an email.
Hey, look, at least the boss is playing by her own rules, right? You know, I can definitely attest to that. I love it. I love what you guys do. And then, in terms of setting up the curriculum for all the students to learn throughout the year, what's your differences, if any, to the normal education system?
The way we follow the curriculum is very, very strategic. So the whole point is to get in there before the school does, so that by the time the kid is in school, they already have an idea. Whereas sometimes kids, for some kids, it takes them a while for them to get stuff, to go taking it back to kids who don't process information very quickly. But when we get there first, by the time they learn it in school, it's not new to them. It's something they've already done before. And then the other thing is, we don't hold our kids back at Tecnis Academy. If they're ready to move on and they're already really achieving, they already know what they're doing, we can move them to the next level, and vice versa. If they're struggling, we can pull them back and try and cover the knowledge gaps. Whereas with school, when it's September, you have to move to the next year group. Even if you're struggling with the current year group, it doesn't matter. You still need to go on to the next year group. Absolutely. We are able to hold them back or push them further.
When I was in school, just much like you, I thought I was really stupid. I thought I was just low grade. If there was 4 sets, in my head I was like set 3. Not quite set 4, but set 3. I wasn't the top man. And I remember this one moment. It was in A-levels, a few months before I left the system completely. And I had this form teacher. He was also my PE teacher for the whole of 7 to 11 as well. And he thought I was just the lowest of the earth. And one day I was in the music room just playing the piano. And he came in to talk to one of the teachers there. He walked inside and was like, "Huh? Hezron? I never even knew you played the piano." It was like, saw me in a whole different light. And what I found is, it was a real struggle for me to school was just, it was hell for me, I'll be honest with you. Let's be real here. At the time, I thought I was just restless, and I couldn't keep control, and I couldn't sit still, and all this kind of stuff. And what I found is, a lot of times, those kind of kids get left behind because the teachers can't even spot their abilities, which usually come to fruition in later life. So how was your experience going through that? Because you went through the same sort of thing, you said. You didn't really believe in yourself either.
When I was in school, I didn't feel completely confident in my abilities. I sometimes also see that the teachers just see us as a classroom rather than... And I get that. I totally get that. But I don't think that really affected me too much in terms of navigating school. I really enjoyed school. And don't forget, I did my schooling, secondary school, back home in Nigeria. So it's a very different scenario to what it is in the UK.
It was like work coming here, really.
Totally. Oh, what? From London to Kent?
And here is me crying about London education.
No, but then I know what you're saying, especially with the kids that I used to work with in schools. And it's all down to the teachers seeing past the silliness, the naughtiness, the unfocused side of the kids, seeing past that and actually getting to know each individual. And one thing that I remember being intentional about is, no matter how naughty the kids, because the kids will push the boundaries, they would try and push the boundaries of their teachers, is having a clean slate every day.
Yes.
Not holding a grudge.
Right.
Literally. They come back, even though they swore at you yesterday, they threw a chair, they come back the following morning and you're like, "Hello, George, how are you today?" And just keep completely, giving them another chance of starting all over again.
And what I found is, if you want to find the real gems, like the topmost 1%, out of those naughty kids, out of 100, 1 or 2 are like whiz geniuses.
Absolutely. And I get it that school isn't the system, the schooling system isn't designed for every child. But there are ways that we can make it better for the children. And for me, there is no dumb child, there is no naughty kid, there is no unteachable child.
I think a naughty kid is a kid of potential.
Absolutely.
Because you have a way to bring his life up.
Kids will always be kids. So you've got to let them be kids. You've got to let them go through that process, go through anger issues, hormones, whatever it is, because they're going through a stage as well, especially with teenagers. They're going through certain stages. So let them be kids. Let them make mistakes, but be there to support them, especially when they want to correct those mistakes and they want to get back. I think kids will still be in school for a long time. I don't think that system's going to change.
Of course not. And no one's will ever say otherwise, by the way.
No, but it's making it bearable for the kids who don't necessarily always fit that system, and finding alternative ways for them to engage in the learning process.
I want both of us really to give a kind of statement of good foresight to those kids that don't necessarily fit in, that life does get better after the schooling. If it's not for you and you're struggling right now and you think this is it. Because when you're young, you literally think that your perception in school will be the exact symmetrical same thing for the rest of your life. No. And that's not necessarily true, is it?
That's not the case at all. In fact, most of the kids that don't necessarily do well in school, when they become adults, they're the ones who are flying. They're the ones who are doing really well. So you can't really use how good the child is in school to define what they would be in the future. So for whatever students who are watching this now, who's really struggling in navigating the school, don't worry, things are going to get better. Things are going to find something outside of school that you enjoy, find extracurricular activities that you can go to after school, put a lot of energy into that, enjoy that. But there is definitely light at the end of the tunnel. There are plenty opportunities. It can't be overemphasized. Getting to know how your kids thrive best, what would really help them to have a better growing up experience, either it be in school or outside of the school. It's so much important. And giving them good options.
Oh yes, man.
Right?
There's so many in this country.
Give them good options where they can choose from, and also stepping back sometimes to allow them to make those mistakes. And that's very difficult as a parent to be able to do that.
Throw them in the fire. And sometimes you have to throw them in the fire and watch them escape.
So pulling back.
On the note of life gets better after the system, you know, I was a bottom failure. I was, if this was a monarchy, I would be the one cleaning the rooms, you know. But now, outside of this education system, I quickly realised I'm a king.
You are.
I'm an absolute king.
You are smashing it. And even then, you're not the bottom.
I was the bottom.
You're not. It's the way you felt you were perceived and actually believing in that.
Well,
but
if someone was to not meet, if someone was to look at us on paper, back then and there, they would see FFF, 5 GCSEs, nothing else further than that. 4 detentions a day sometimes. I'd have detention for each lesson. That was my casual daily routine.
Your grades don't define you. The number the number of detentions, the number of expulsions.
I agree. They don't define you.
They don't
define you, but
I get what you mean.
The truth is, that's what's talked about both through the kids and the parents. It is what it is. But anyway, the point is, I found out as soon as I came out. Like I came out when I was 16. I left A-levels within about 5-6 months. I just was smashing doors down at record-breaking speed. To be fair, I was already teaching piano from the age of 14. Teachers don't know about that though. Charging my £30 an hour from the age of 14. Me and my band, went on BBC, smashed doors, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, you were in BBC, weren't you? I
was in BBC.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, my God, if I knew life was this good out of there, I might have left at 12. But anyway, I want to tell you a really good story that happened. So when I was teaching one of the kids, her father was actually a psychologist. Okay. He did these IQ tests at his place of work or whatever, but he gave me a kind of unofficial one. So he was like, Hezron, you know you got something to you, right? I was like, what are we talking about? I'm dumb. Like, he gave me the test, and this is unofficial. But he said my IQ was 136 or thereabout, which was 2% of the population. I was like, what?
Wow. Wow. Do you know
What?
there's a genius in every single child?
Go-
You just
talk to
got
me.
to
Talk
you
to me.
just got to unlock that genius. And there's a genius, and you can be every single child is a genius, but you might not be a genius in English or maths, but you'd be a genius in something
Yes.
entirely. And
Right.
you've just got to unlock it.
Talk
Because
about
my
it.
audience is the immigrant mums, the immigrant dads who came over to this country to find a better life for their children. But what then tends to happen is they need to pay their bills, they need money to survive. So they find work and they work for long hours, but at the detriment of the children, so not having enough time to actually getting to know their children, spend time with them. So it's every every parent's responsibility to identify the genius in your child,
yes.
and then to unlock it,
Yes.
so that they can be raised as a well-balanced individual, independent one that can go away and they can thrive.
I've seen, as a teacher, well, I'm an official teacher. I have no qualifications, guys.
But as a music tutor,
And I was getting them grades and stuff. But anyway, as a music tutor, should I say, I found that the kids that had the best results had these really great parents behind them, just really supporting them. And you know what's funny? It didn't matter if the parents were rich or poor. All that mattered was the singular focus to say, listen, I'm going to make my kid as best as I can. I'm going to find out what's good about them. If it's not maths, doesn't matter. It could be sport. If it's not sport, doesn't matter. It could be music or some sort of journalism or whatever it could be. I'm going to sit down with my kid and I'm going to put the effort in. No matter if they were some rich one in Richmond or Kensington or some other, or they were poor immigrants that came, the results in the end, and now I'm seeing it 10 years later, are the same.
Absolutely. And I totally believe that God created each one of us for a divine purpose, for a divine reason. And until you start to live your purpose, you haven't actually lived life. And so you need to be able to find that purpose and unlock it. Imagine you finding your purpose very early in life. You know, it'll go a long way. So
Yeah, exactly.
it's just going back to what you can do to help those children to find what they need to do, unlock it. One of the kids that I did a live with yesterday, she's in her second year in medical school right now. She didn't think she would get into medical school. She didn't think it was a goal that would be achievable because the schools were predicting at grade 6s. And if you're familiar with the system, you need grade 7s, 8s and 9s to be able to get into that place. So her mum was the one who went, do you need help? Are you struggling? And she said, yes, Mom. How can I help you? Even though her mum is an immigrant mum who moved to the UK, didn't understand the system, said, what can I do to help you? She said, Mom, I need a tutor. I need you to get me someone who can get me the grades, even though the school is saying this is the best I can do. But I feel like I can do so much better. And that's exactly what her mom did for her. And she moved from grade 6 to 9. She got a lot of 9s. She got about 7 or 6 9s. So I don't know if you're familiar with grade 9, but grade 9 is the top 5% students in the entire country. So it's all about going back to the parents still, you know, just really being there and not missing that time slot where they really need the support.
That's just beautiful. I love hearing a story where a family has these advantages by moving to the country later on in their life, and they still come here and do amazing things. It's, correct me if I'm wrong here, I think as a teacher, that's just a real delight, right?
Totally. The buzz I get from seeing my students do well, living a happy life, because it's not just all about, doesn't boil down to money.
Right.
It's about, again, I keep saying it, finding your purpose, because once you find your purpose, you start living in your purpose, you'd be a happy person.
Right.
You'd want to wake up and just go. So I went to a shop to get some clothes the other day, and the lady was like, oh, it's such a long day, it's dragging, I can't wait for it to be over. And I couldn't relate to that. I could not relate to that. I don't look at the watch to say, when's the day going to be over? Actually, I'm like, can I get more hours in the day? How can I get more hours in the day?
That is such a true thing. Unfortunately, not everyone does this, but if you do follow through with your life purpose, the way you see life is like berries and roses.
Totally.
It's like you said, like every single day. Like, I wish I had 5 more hours in the day.
Yeah.
Imagine what we could do with 5 more hours in the day, Tutu. Like, we'd be like millionaires by now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's not to say you're still not going to have challenges.
Of course not, but it's different.
Yeah.
Look. I've had challenges this week, but you know what? I said to myself, I'm going Ghana next week, so. Like,
I'm coming with you.
listen, if it's business, please.
I'm coming with you.
we all have challenges, but look, the challenges do somewhat smoothen out, and you know, a better life is on the horizon.
Absolutely.
And what you really want to do is try and find meaning in life. Meaning creates responsibility, and the responsibility gives you a reason to keep moving forward and seeing the role in a great way.
100%. And for any young person who hasn't found their, even the older folks who haven't found their purpose yet, don't give up. Just have an open mind. What is it that I can do that can set me apart? What is it that I can do that each day of my life wouldn't feel like I'm working? It'll just feel like I'm living my life.
You're living your life purpose.
I am living my life purpose right now, which is helping children, which is impacting them, which is nurturing them to become the best versions of themselves.
Some kids are born to be entrepreneurs, right? The school system sets you up to become an employee. So they might think you're crazy and not sitting still and rah. And they say stuff like, what's going to happen when you talk to your boss? And you do this, and you're like, but hold on a second, some of the kids won't have a boss. They will be the boss. Some of those traits which make you a bad employee make you a buzzing entrepreneur.
Even if you become an entrepreneur, there's certain skills that you have to have in place. There's certain emotional intelligence. There's certain way you converse with people, which is absolutely fine. But not everyone wants to become an entrepreneur, and you can still be working for someone and living your purpose.
Yes.
So, yes.
I'm not saying that one is wrong or wrong is
No,
right.
no. Yeah.
No one's saying that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All I'm saying is, for those kids that are being told that they're not fitting in, they're not doing things right, there could be a role at the end of the tunnel for you to be an entrepreneur.
Every single child's different, so it's getting to know those kids, and he's not sitting still, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's not learning.
And then the kid comes out of school 10 years later and then quickly realises to make money, you can't sit still.
And then realise not sitting still is actually a really good thing. Yeah.
Well, this
definitely.
is it. Sitting still is like, not working at all, really, actually. Sitting still. And then I remember when I was young, that, some of the people in church like to say, the piano's not a toy. I was like, oh, now I'm 27, it's like, it is. But there's no bad blood here. It's all in good light.
Absolutely.
Everyone's doing things for good reasons, but some things are lost in communication along the way.
Totally. And it's just having an open mind as well, and understanding that the way people see things might be in a different light to what you see it.
Right. What are your future plans for growing your business and growing your dreams?
So a lot of people are saying, Tutu, why don't you just start an actual school? But that's not the goal. That's not the vision. The vision is to reach out to more students outside of the UK. We currently have majority of our students based in the UK, but we're also tutoring students from 15 other countries. So the goal is for us to be the household name for tutoring in the UK and in those 15 other countries.
Tutu, I believe you can do it. Tell them, how many students have you got right now?
We have close to 2,000 kids at Tecnis Academy.
Oh my God. And how many staff?
We have close to 70 members of staff.
You have as many staff as my clients. I do have clients.
But they're all fantastic, amazing people who are helping to make this possible.
I really believe in you, and you know, they say in the media, you know, you're black, you're a woman, you can't be where you should be, and here you are right now. Your initial goal was to still also be there for your daughter. You fixed that. Your goal was to help children become better than who they are, find their meaning, and find those cracks that maybe other people aren't seeing, the openings of success with them, and you're solving that. Another aim of yours is to put money into people's pockets, your staff, so they can feed their kids, they can feed their families, to include diverse people that don't usually get the kind of opportunities. You've done all of that. In a way, you have done all of your dreams, really. Now you're just expanding it, making it bigger and bigger, right? By the time you're 17, you're sitting back and you're just sitting there, maybe on the beach with like, you'll be so rich by then. You'll be on some some VIP beach, you will be.
Amen.
She'll take me out as well. Yeah? She'll fly me out.
Amen.
That was definitely beginning. Amen.
I know, right?
First class?
Yeah.
She'll be like, business is too for the broke guys down there.
Yeah. George included.
Listen, George will remember that, you know. George will remember that. But when you're sitting there on whatever great beach, what beach would it be, by the way?
I think I'd like to go to Fiji.
Ooh, that's exotic. Cool. When you're sitting there on the Fiji beach and you're looking back at your life, what do you want to say back to yourself?
That I'm gonna go out of this world empty, that I've given and I've explored every single goal, every single idea, that I've exhausted them. I've done everything. So at the moment, I've published 3 books. So I want to be able to sit on that beach and go, if I go today, if I leave this world today, I've done everything humanly possible that God has placed in me to do, and I've exhausted all those avenues. I'm not leaving anything in. So hopefully going out with no regrets.
Amazing. A lot of times we look at the rich and the successful and think they take. But really and true, that's a lie. Every successful person I know does one thing: give. So here we have another ordinary person doing extraordinary things. The secret of life isn't having a golden spoon just given to you or money just thrown at you. It's to become the best version of yourself you can possibly be. Even if you're born in a third world country, even if you're born with nothing, maybe you didn't have any parents at all, you can become everything you were born to be. This is the Hezron Springer Show.